That's better. Okay. I just did it a minute ago and it came out looking weird. So I'm like, what is that about? It was kind of strange or whatever. So I had to restart it and whatever. Technical stuff keeps going on. But anyway, yeah, what's up? What's up? This Kev, the Cashflow DJ, back at you one more time. Back at you one more again. We're going to get it popping again tonight for the 30-day challenge. Welcome to another episode, another installment of 30-day video challenge that I'm doing. Some of you, may not have had a chance to follow it. I don't know anything about it, haven't heard anything about it, or what have you. This has been at it for 11 days, almost halfway through the 30 days. But it's a 30-day video challenge with the group My Lifestyle Academy video challenge. They're like hosting it or whatever you want to call that. And kind of doing it with them. I just started it at the spree of a moment, at the, what do you want to call it? Spur of a moment, or whatever you want to call that. But it was some stuff I had going anyway. But this particular challenge, I just kind of jumped on that. Hey, what's up, Billy? Billy Jefferson in the house. Mariana representing. Mariana, they better watch out. Mariana's in the house. What's up, man? This is day 11. And we're talking about the 30-day challenge, the video challenge, or whatever. And the the group that's kind of like sponsoring the thing is My Lifestyle Academy. Go to their website. I had to post a link up. I can't think of the link right now. I think it's mylifestyleacademy.com/challenge or something like that. I'll post it up. But anyway, I've been on day 11. We're going pretty decent so far. Had some bruises, had a little ups and downs here and there, some little dings and pings. But hey, you just got to keep bumping, keep going. Just keep going along. Today we're going to be talking about something. Hey, what's up, Alicia? Mariana's in the house deep, boy. Y'all representing. Y'all representing. My old high school, we representing. But yeah, I'm doing a 30-day challenge. This is day 11. And we're going to kind of get deep into some, I guess you could say technical, I don't know what you want to call it, but into some details. Going to get deep into some details on this particular movement that I'm trying to get going to gain steam for grassroots movement is the group economics movement. What's up, girl? It's been a long time. It's been a long time. It's the group economics movement. And the group economics movement, a lot of people may not know what that is or whatever. Basically, to put it in a nutshell, is just people getting together, in a specific group or whatever. They're just getting together and they're putting their resources together for a specific cause. Together, everyone achieves more. We all know that. We got to get together. And that's the hardest thing, especially for us black folks, but we ain't gonna go there. I'm gonna leave that alone. But anyway, if we get together, in unity and in unison, a lot of things can get accomplished. Easier said than done because everybody got their own thing, their own life, their own world. It's easier said than done. But if we can follow through on that, we can do a lot of things, great things on the planet. Exactly. We know that. We know this. But, somebody got to get up and start doing something. We already know this. It's just we do our thing and we do it for years. And, hey, we just do what we do. We kind of not really too much thinking about the next person. We kind of do, but we don't. And we don't do anything behind it. Sometimes we may feel bad, a little guilty about it, whatever. But anyway, the point is powerful if you have a lot of people doing something together. And if it is a movement, the movement should get the emphasis or the primary, the major part of attention should be on the movement. Another problem that happens, I don't want to get too deep into politics and whatnot and all of this, civil rights, social activism or whatever, but people's feelings get too caught up in it. We know egos get caught up in it, personalities, we get this one, get that one, we worry about this, or we don't like him or don't like her and all of this. What's up, Dewan? Dewan's in the house. Cab drivers representing. Let them know. Dewan is a serious hustler. This boy is a serious hustler. He knows about the game. But we get caught up in so much pettiness, personalities, our own biases, whatever, this and that. It's a whole lot of stuff that keeps us from getting things done. A whole lot of stuff that keeps us from getting things done. And we know good and well that if we were together, It's hard for people to stop us, especially it's hard for people to stop a movement. And that's what I'm talking about. Other things. It's a whole lot of stuff I see out there. And it's like, if y'all would just focus on the actual idea and quit worrying about this dude sleeping cheating on his wife, or this girl over here, she got plastic surgery or whatever. Look like this thing is freezing up, some more crazy stuff going, or whatever this petty stuff and all of that. And that's why it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. But anyway, I'm kind of going to get into some technical aspects of it. I guess you can call it technical. I don't know if you really want to call it technical. I guess you could. Details. Even might want to take out your pen and pad or whatever, or possibly rewatch it, because it's some different points and stuff that's going to come up. So, yeah, man, I mean, it's some truth to it. I mean, I could get deep into it, and it's like, and that's without naming names and without naming this, that, and the other. Everybody know, or they know an example of this happening. They know an example or two or several examples of this going on. Hey, how's it going, Kimberly? Cracker Barrel in the house. Cracker Barrel representing. Kimberly, what's up? Thanks a lot for joining. Thanks a lot for watching. Yeah, we're on the 30-day challenge, and I'm going to go into details on the group economics thing, so that and this is pretty definitive. I've had a lot of little breakdowns of it. And there's other people that have different definitions. If you look it up and Google it and all this type of stuff, what I'm talking about is my particular perspective. It's my specialty. Is like the group economics thing that I'm looking at, and I have a specific perspective. And there's more than one way to skin a cat. Hey, how's it going, AJ? Representing. Good. Thanks a lot. Welcome back. There's a lot of ways to define group economics, depending on what you want to do and all this type of stuff. I have a specific way, so it don't have to be my way or the highway. Different folks do things different ways. This is just a specific way that I'm looking at doing it, and some can kind of get into it. What's up, Kimberly? All right. Some can kind of get into it, and some may not be able to. So anyway, what I'm going to do, I was trying to get some technical stuff going. I was trying to get into the what do you want to call it? How the computer thing, and it's not going to exactly work. Not right now, the way I was wanting to do it, so I'm going to have to do a ghetto style. I'm going to have to just kind of rig it up a little bit. It's going to be a little raggedy, but hey, it's going to get the point across. Until I gear up or hone up my technical stuff and get all that technical stuff in order, I'm going to do it ghetto style and do it raggedy style, and we still going to get from point A to point B. I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just trying to get it done. If my shoe was missing and I get it done, hey, I just have my shoe off. Hair nappy, hey, I'm just going to get it done. I can't worry about those details and all this other type of stuff. But the point, we're going to get the point across. The point is going to get across. But anyway, I'm going to flip this thing on right quick. Hold up a second, one moment here. One moment. Like I said, it's going to be raggedy and ghetto style, but hey, we're going to get this thing done. Wait a minute. Let me see how that works. Okay. It's going to be raggedy and ghetto style, but we're going to handle this. All right, here we go. All right, y'all. I'm going to show you the little, kind of go into some detail. This is what I was trying to do. I was trying to do the screen share thing, and I don't have it set up yet. I found out how to do it. There's a way to do it, and I will have it set up, but I'm not going to wait around on that. I'm just going to get down to the details. So I'm finna get on the good foot, and hold up a second here.
Well, hello, and how's everybody doing out there? Thank you very much for attending or viewing or listening or participating. Yes, we're going to be talking about group economics today, and we're going to be specifically focusing on an aspect of it, on how it can be used and applied. What are some applications? These are subgroup applications. We dig down, we go deeper, and we find out how does it work. Subgroup applications. All right. Well, let's dig into it. Subgroup applications. The concept or the principle is fairly simple to learn, simple to understand and implement. But if you go deeper into it, in the applications can look complex, can look complicated. It depends. It really depends on how far the individual wants to take it. You go at your own speed. Then we're going to get into different types of subgroup applications and the usages. for group economics. You may not be familiar with that term. We're going to go into that or what that is, or maybe you are. You may, some of it may be familiar to you. You may already be, accustomed to it. But none of these definitions, interpretations, or applications are anything new. We're just putting a little twist on some traditional sets and usages. What is it all based on? These are the concepts.
Sound is a little whack, but I guess it's a little raggedy, but we're gonna get it. Hold up, it's supposed to start again. Wait a minute. Did it start again? It ain't supposed to be that much lag. Hold up, wait a minute. That's too much lag. That's too much lag. Wait a minute. 146.
Group economics concept.
Okay, there we go.
Cooperative economics concept. Joint venture partnership concept. Joint venture marketing. Cooperative marketing. And team building. Now, all those have different meanings and different definitions, but we're just taking them at this point. We're not going into too much detail into those particular things. All right, the first application we're going to focus on, there's going to be 4 of them. Number 1 of those 4 is the joint venture partnership application. Defining, explaining, and exemplifying that application. What does that really mean? Well, for the joint venture setting of group economics, let us define group economics and its joint venture application. Now, this is primarily going to be geared towards small mom and pop type businesses, not necessarily large corporations, billion dollar corporations, Walmart, Apple, Microsoft, ventures of this size. We're not necessarily speaking on that, although the potential to expand to a corporate level or size.
Okay, messing up again.
Is always there. Somebody can always do that, but that depends on the ambition of the individuals or the partners involved. You don't have to be a millionaire or grow it into a corporate size entity, but the choice is there to do that. Okay, let's go into an example. Suppose you want to open up a restaurant, gas station, convenience store, something to that effect in your local area, your local community, for local reasons, as a merchant. Fine. I'm going to use that little example as a scenario, or that scenario. You're going to need a figure to get everything rolling. We're going to use this figure, 10,000, in startup funds to start your convenience store, your gas station, your grocery store, to start the ball rolling, to get the store up, to get the funding, to get the business done, to get the equipment, to get the marketing, to get the the labor costs, all those things necessary. Now, how would you raise those funds? Well, there's a lot of ways to do that. Traditional ways, could be parents, could be you have a bank account, a credit check, there's a lot of ways that it can be done, but let's look at it some of the non-traditional ways and sort of a creative way to approach that. Well, it's not really that creative, but let's just look at it from a different perspective. Let's put 5 people, or among 5 people of us, to shoulder the burden, partners, into this joint venture. Let's look at $10,000, that figure that we mentioned earlier. And there's about 5 of us in the entity, 5 of us in the group. At $2,000 per person that we've helped to raise or to input, we have our 10,000. In a brief example, let's say to open up that restaurant or that gas station, it takes that $10,000 investment. Let's say the deadline of about 90 days to get those funds in place and to get everything secured. Now, with the 5 people in this arrangement, we're calling it a group economics joint venture partnership type of arrangement. At $2,000, we need around about $700 or so monthly in about a 3-month period in order to get that $2,000. Each partner doing that. So $2,000 each, $700 a month times 5 partners, that equals about $3,500 monthly that we're gonna be securing with to get to our 10,000. And within and at the end of the 3-month periods, then we'll have our $10,000. So $700 a month. You break that down weekly. That's about $175 a week. It's equivalent of maybe a part-time job. Let's say a McDonald's job or something similar to that. In about 3 months, we'd have our 10K. Make any sense? Well, that's just the beginning. Using that little small example, just scratches the surface, the possibilities, and the unlimited potential of this powerful concept. Just as one application. You can use this for a mechanic shop. You can use this for a beautician building. You can use this for a construction business, a real estate service, on and on and on and on. All right, now what other type of groups can this pertain to? What other type of applications, actually? Let's go into our second explanation. Our second application is the customer base, client base, and fan base development. Customer base, client base, and fan base development. This is the second type of group economics application. All right, let's kind of go into that and check that out a little bit. Now, by developing your own group of followers, your own supporters, and customers before your product or your service or your project goes to market or before it's up and running, you have a targeted and you have a prepared market that you target demographically or whatever in advance of your project rollout. You target them demographically. So let's use an example to help explain and illustrate how that can be used and how that can be applied. Suppose there's an old television. Probably watched the show or two. Maybe it was canceled prematurely, maybe some years back or even recently. In our view, and we felt powerless at the time to do anything about it. Even the stars who started the show, or maybe the producers who put on the show and produced it, they might have been taken aback as well by the decision to cancel the show. Mm-hmm. This may be a familiar thing we may have experienced. Now, if we can gather the support of an existing fan base of that show, the existing fan base may be willing to support that show being remade again. It's possible. You have some fans. But let's pick a round number. Let's say if we can find about 1 million or so fans who might be willing to support a project to remake the television show, their favorite old series. Maybe it could be a runtime reunion show. Maybe it'll be another season or a couple of seasons of the series. Whatever it would be. If we can get 1 million, find 1 million fans out there who are willing to spend $5 or $10 maybe to see their favorite show redone, then we have a $5 or $10 million budget for the project based on the funds that we've been able to raise. Now we don't need major studios. We don't need Hollywood politics. We just pick the script. We pick the writers. We pick the directors. We pick the location. We pick the equipment, the distribution, even the theaters. Or if we're going to broadcast it on online television stations or mediums or websites or whatever, to play it, to screen the thing, to stream the film. We have the actors' salaries covered. We can do all of that using this particular group economics application and this platform for funding that project. Now, this is similar to crowdfunding or crowdsourcing, but it's a little bit of a slight twist, but it's very similar to that. Let's use another example of this particular application, this particular group economics application, this fan base, building this fan base, this customer base, and this client base. Now, suppose we're fed up with maybe a big corporate cable company, big satellite provider. Maybe it's Comcast, maybe it's Verizon, or some other big corporate provider, whoever it is. Maybe there's been an issue, maybe a complaint, maybe whatever the problem may have been. Now, after gathering or finding 1 million people who would like an alternative provider for films, movies, TV shows, entertainment programming, whatever you want to provide or they want to see, and they're all willing to pay 10, 20 bucks, whatever, either a month or one-time fee or whatever amount that would cover the costs of that particular venture or that particular project that Comcast was doing or Verizon or whoever it was doing. Then there's your fan base. You have a support base. Now that amount would cover the cost of providing that alternative online broadcast, digital broadcast, offline, some other form of transmission, prearranged or negotiate with an, that's hard to do. Arranged. Or for that amount of people, we can also negotiate with an existing provider if we want to do that too. We can go to them and say, look, we got X million people that want to do X million things, and we're willing to do some, whatever, with satellite radio or some other existing or paying customer base with our base that we've already built. Now, you can do that using this particular group economics application and this platform. Now, these are just two quick examples of the fan base, the customer base, and the client base. Now, the choices and the options are endless, but you see how that could work in this particular type of usage. Number three is a self-sustaining, self-supporting self-sufficient community. A third type of group or a group economics application would be the self-sustaining, self-supporting, self-commuting, self-sufficient community application. So this is dedicated to a specific group or a specific subgroup or target market. Okay, let's go into another example. Let's see this. Let's explain this in the form of an actual example or potential example. Let's say you want to do something to help United States veterans. Okay, you target veterans from different locations, veterans from different wars, veterans of different age brackets, tailoring your message to veterans' needs, focusing on serving the needs of veterans and the interests of veterans as a community. Okay, suppose you want to help single moms or African Americans or Hispanic Americans or high school dropouts, graduating teens, college graduates, senior citizens, any type of group or community that is already established or existing or that you want to build, establish. And that group or that community, it would be a self-sustaining, self-supporting community. If those members or the people that were interested in supporting that particular group or that particular target market, if they're willing to invest for that group or that market or that community or membership, donate, purchase, whatever dollar amount is necessary as a member, as a customer, as a donor, as an investor, as a partner, as a supporter, then that group, that, segment or that target market could be considered self-supporting and self-sustaining. We don't have to go outside of anyone else or whatever. It's internally self-supported and self-sustaining. Now, this can be a for-profit venture for, capitalism, entrepreneurism, free enterprise, or a non-profit venture for a legitimate cause or a legitimate charity of your choice. Breast cancer awareness, autism, illiteracy, whatever, our favorite cause is. And we can do that using this particular group economics application and platform. Now, those are just a few examples. As you can see, the list of possibilities is endless as long as it's ethical and legal. And finally, a fourth application, group economics application, number 4, cooperative economics or profit sharing. This is the fourth type of group subgroup, or fourth type of GE application in cooperative economics or profit sharing. Now, this is another type of group setting using the cooperative model, the co-op model, profit sharing model. Just looking at an example. Now, suppose you have a manufacturing plant or factory that makes or creates clothing. The workers at the plant, they're not just employees. They're actually cooperative owners, and they have a cooperative share in a percentage of the company's profits. Now, the arrangement would preferably be an equal amount of shares distributed to each worker, each member, each employee. The share or the amount can be based on different types of criteria, or various criteria, different types of methods, depending on how you set up the structure. It can get a little complex, depending on how deep you want to go into it. But the employee situation would just be one type of example where it could be done. It could be also set up if it's for members in a membership setting, club setting, whatever you want to call it, ownership setting, investor setting, whatever position or whatever stake that each participant has in the profit sharing model or the revenue sharing structure. And the income generated would be distributed, throughout, either based on the individual or based on their share. And then the legal and the mathematical layout would have to be beneficial for all parties within the arrangement on the short-term level as well as the long-term level. And do that cooperative co-op economic model using this particular application and platform. This is a group model, a group economics model. These are just a few examples. The list of possibility is endless as long as it's ethical and legal. But you see where I'm going with it. So that's about it. I just wanted to go over briefly all the different possibilities and the different applications, or really just 4 of them. There could be a few more, but these are 4 of the main ones we want to focus on for group economics and these subgroup applications. So just want to go over those 4 right quick. Thank you very much for listening briefly, and I'll talk with you next time. Thanks again.
All right, yeah, like I said, it's a little raggedy, a little ghetto, whatever, but hey, whatever. Just wanted to get the point across, and I wasn't able to get all the technical stuff. I was trying to get some screen sharing stuff going, some screen sharing technology, which I know where to get it, know how to get it, know everything about it. I just have to get it set up, and I haven't had it set up yet or whatever. So, it would be set up shortly, maybe in a day or 2. I don't know how long, maybe after the weekend, because, I get pretty busy on the weekend. But anyway, so that's about it. I figure, because like I said, I have a few, little presentation things like that, and that one kind of hit the basics kind of right on the nail, right on the head, and all that type of stuff. Yeah, self-sustaining and self-supportive, internally. That means that, I'm just using an example, black owned, black supported, black made, kind of like that FUBU, for us, by us, so if you guys are the ones getting together, putting this particular entity out, if it's like a business or whatever, or it's just your niche, you're supporting that niche. It depends on what the cause, it depends on what the project is, because it's so wide open, it can be used for all types of stuff. But, charities, entertainment, and business are kind of the main 3 categories of how this can be used. There's a lot of kids, the Negro College Fund or whatever, or those are kind of the main 3. It can be used for some other things, but those are kind of the main 3. And the 2 most popular would probably be entertainment and charity, because with entertainment you have like millions of people that do whatever they do. They want to buy a rap album, they want to do this, they want to get a game, they want whatever. There's like millions of them for that. For a small business, it could be millions too, but it may be a smaller niche, especially if you just want to get a liquor store or whatever, gas station or whatever. Oh, it's freezing up and doing stupid stuff again. Is it doing crazy stuff? I don't know if it's okay. Doing some crazy, silly stuff, freezing up or whatever. But, yeah, that's, and that cuts out so many outside external, influences, that cuts out so much politics and a lot of stuff. When you walk into the bank, the stuff that has to go into that, and you can't really blame the bank because the bank is taking risks. Or they doing this and they got stockholders and they have shareholders and all this type of stuff. So they got certain stuff that they want to do and they ain't gonna just, they're not just going to throw stuff around or throw money around just on this boo bop and the other, whatever. Something technical. It's kind of like glitched out for a minute, then it glitched back in. So I don't know if that's a connection or whatever it is. I don't know what that was, but it glitched out for a minute or something. So I don't know. I'm kind of used to it. It doesn't last long and it doesn't, what you want to call it, terminate, the connection, but it does glitch it up, or whatever. So whatever. I don't know what that is. But yeah, like I said, it's self-sustaining and, specifically with us, because a lot of the group economics talk that you hear will come from the conscious community. For example, I really was influenced with this by Claude Anderson. If anybody is familiar with Claude Anderson, the author, he's a speaker and an author, and he's focused on a lot of black issues, black consciousness issues, and he focuses a lot on economics and politics too, social and other stuff he combines in there. But one of the main things he mentions is the group economics thing. And see, it's something old. This ain't no brand new slick stuff somebody came up with. This is old. It's just that certain small, I won't say secretive, but certain small groups do it and they don't really just, put it out there. It's just not out there. It's been done. It's not new. It's just that they just do it. They go on about their business and they do it. Jews and all this type of stuff, Arabs, whatever, Koreans, Asian cultures, and a lot of this is culture because, a lot of the group stuff comes from our cultural, where we've come from culturally, what we used to do, what we were raised to do, what we were brought up to do, what we grew up around, and what the people that we're around in our communities or whatever, in our cultures or whatever do. And we just handle business and see these outside because people either waiting for stuff or they're mad and complaining about stuff and they feel powerless, about what people do. Primarily big corporations, big politics, big, all of these big, what do you want to call it? Red tape, big bureaucracies and all of that. Now, this thing doesn't come without its problems. That's with anything in life, anything on the planet is going to have its problems. One of the main issues is going to be who you're dealing with, because if you get with the wrong person, they kind of going to screw up they have the potential to screw up and gum up things. It may be small, but if you got some goofball or a couple or whatever, that, it's like the weak link in the chain. So, and whatever you do in life is going to have its advantages and it's going to have its disadvantages, and, you either just have to outweigh the disadvantages or go, and looking at it positively and realistically and practically on the practical level. And one of the things that I get into as far as the integrity of who you deal with and the integrity of the system is that they have to follow certain principles. Now, you can't guarantee that, just like marrying somebody. Just because you marry somebody or whatever, you can't guarantee what's going to happen, during that marriage. It's a risk. You may know the person as well as you can, but there's no guarantee on what's going to happen 5-10 years down the line, when you all are together, so this is just like a marriage, same thing, so there are some downsides or some drawbacks to it. And then the principles of how you, like in the business situation, the principles of what are your principles for doing business. Like, for instance, small black businesses in the black community, you go to local barbershop, local whatever, local, restaurants, rib joints or whatever. You kind of sometimes you kind of see some of the complaints that happens with black entrepreneur. And I've worked for some, not only have I been a customer for some, I've also worked for some. And because of the culture, or because of their philosophies or their principles that they go by, the way they handle business is like certain things they do, is cool, and other things is not so great, So it has this downside. It's not the perfect solution, which there is none, and people want everything to be absolutely perfect and stick with perfection. It's not going to be absolutely perfect, no matter what it is or who it's from. No individual or whatever those individuals create is going to be absolutely perfect. But forget perfectionism and just go with what can work. Because there are a lot of things that work that ain't perfect, but they work, And they may not be perfect, but they get the job done. They work, and they work well, over and over again, whatever, all this other type of stuff. So anyway, yeah, this is just a basic, kind of a basic breakdown of the whole group economics, the whole concept. And like I said, I'm looking to get the whole hashtag thing going, the whole grassroots movement going for the group economics movement. As that builds steam, as that gains momentum, as that begins to trend, and it begins to trend upward. Now, this subject matter, a whole lot of people are very interested in this subject matter. The subject matter is not the problem. The problem is the logistics and the infrastructure of actually putting something together workable and sustainable that can actually work in a practical sense. Because the minute you have this discussion, and I've had it before with other people in groups, everybody gets excited. The first thing they ask is, well, who's doing it? Who's going to do this? Where do we go? What do we do? The first thing they want to know is where to go and what to do. Where to go? Where do we go? Who do? And it kind of begins to fizzle. And the few people that do speak about it, it's nothing concrete that's actually, going. So I'm trying to go with the group economic movements. I want to get to like 1,000 businesses, or preferably like 10,000 or even 100,000, whatever the number is, just like the Million Man March. Just like the Million Man March. And you have 1,000 businesses, or you have 5,000, or you have 10,000. And if you get 3, 4, 5 people per business, that's affecting 50,000 people or so, or 100,000 people, or whatever, whatever number you want to go, and you follow that, each, depending on how your structure is, you follow up with each individual, just like watching one of these talk shows like Oprah or something, or Maury Povich. Some of these shows do a thing where 3 months later, they go back and see what happened to the people, that they did the show on 3 months ago. That's the type of thing that you have to do to keep things going sustainable, structured like that. And it's not a lot of structures around like that. There's a few, but it's in different industries. And my thing is, what works in one particular application, you can apply it the same thing in another area. And what happens is people get used to doing one thing one way instead of taking this thing they're doing over here and doing it over here. So on this side, people aren't doing it, but over here, everybody's doing it. So why don't we do the same thing they did over here, except we're doing it in this location? So nobody's doing that yet. So I need to start to get the movement going, get people supporting it rather than talking and discussing about it, and then get the first 100 that can go, the first 500, the first 1,000, just on small business. The other side of it is the crowdfunding. The crowdfunding thing, that gives you power again. Look up that term crowdfunding. Look at the newspaper articles and US Today and all these other articles about that. People, I guess they boo-hooed it when it first came out, but now it's a lot of people that see crowdfunding as an answer to the Hollywood and politics and all these other folks who have a lockdown on what we want to do. And we sit there complaining, Comcast or whoever it is. And we're just stuck. You get billion-dollar corporations that are doing the stuff that they're doing, and we're stuck, because we're not a billion-dollar corporation. So rather than waiting, or either complaining or waiting on another billion-dollar corporation, or complaining about the ones that we stuck dealing with, we can get together. I'm putting quotes around that word, together, and come up with an alternative to whatever the billion-dollar corporations. Now, here's a drawback with that. Here's the drawback. Everything is not perfect. Even when you do that, let's say Netflix or something. We don't like Netflix, and we come up with a whole alternative. Or let's say Comcast, cable company. We don't like Comcast. We get a whole bunch of us together, 10,000, a million of us, or whatever. We get another Comcast thing called up that goes, XCast or whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the drawback. Once that XCast thing gets up and running and going, you're going to have problems, you're going to have complaints, and you're going to have issues with this brand new alternative company that came from the grassroots, because it's not perfect. and somebody going to have a legitimate complaint about the direction on which this thing is going, headed by the board or headed by the co-op or headed by the headquarters or whatever it is. And you got to deal with co-ops and boards and all that type of stuff. So yeah, once you get into the weeds and the spaghetti of it, it's some challenges to it, so I don't like to just hype stuff up and think that whatever, because people get so excited to get hyped up about stuff. And it's like, well, it's not going to be perfect. It ain't gonna be quick a lot of times, and it ain't gonna be perfect. Even if it does get up, it still ain't gonna be perfect. Once we got our little cable thing that we screw Comcast, we still have to deal with the issues, because when a complaint comes up, okay, well, who's gonna make the decision? What's the board thing? Well, whatever. So yeah, it's got issues, but like I said, at the end of the day, it is a solution. It is an alternative solution to a lot of different things. And then, and the another downside to this too, and I try to look at both sides, is you have to be careful about the scam artists. Because one thing about crowdfunding, there's a lot of scam artists out there. A lot of scam artists. Scamming is old as dirt. We've been scamming since Adam and Eve. Scams they've been here, they ain't going nowhere. All you're doing when you're scamming is you steal it. So I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna steal. It's just like the guy that's sitting on the corner with a sign that says, I want to work for food stamps or whatever. He's a bum on the street. He wants to work for food. He wants to not work. I'm trying to get some food. I'm saying a street bum or whatever. And you give him the money. He goes to the dope man or what, it's people going to scam, and you're not going to completely eliminate scamming. That's why it's good to focus on the actual movement rather than any one individual or any one personality. And that applies to a whole lot of stuff besides what I'm talking about. If you focus on the actual goal, don't get hung up because you don't like the way this dude, some dude, like for instance, I've been a victim of cons and scams and like certain companies. Man, this company's so great. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. They doing all this great stuff. They got some of the greatest stuff in the world going. And next thing you know, the dude get caught or whatever. He ran to Mexico with the money or whatever and he stole and his thing get shut down or whatever. That idea that he had, that company, it was beautiful. But he got caught, went to jail, and the whole thing stopped because this dude went to jail or whatever. The idea was still great. So what, he went to jail. Let him go and rot in jail. He shouldn't have taken the money and did something stupid with it. Him being stupid messed up the whole thing, and it was a beautiful thing, doing beautiful things for people. That's just one example. But anyway, so I like to present both sides. I don't like hype. I hate hype. Because I've been listening to hype for so many years. I can't stand hype. Nothing wrong with being excited and having enthusiasm, but that hype stuff, like President Trump, like when he does something, he's a natural salesman. He'll say something, maybe somebody will pass a bill and the bill is kind of whack. It's the greatest bill I've ever seen in my life. It's the greatest thing in the world. Just be straight up about it. I mean, you want to sell it and get support for it, but it's not the greatest bill in history, or it's not the greatest thing. It's not. That's hype. That's sales talk. And there's nothing wrong with sales talk. You got to sell stuff, but there's different ways to do sales or whatnot. But anyway, I'm getting on these different tangents because there's a whole lot to this issue, and it gets deep. It goes down a lot of different tunnels and avenues. There's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of viewpoints on it. There's a lot of perspectives on it. And there's a lot of deep, little, spaghetti-like details that goes into it. But the bottom line at the end of the day is that this is something that can be done, and at least somebody needs to kind of get something going so that something can be done. Problems or not, struggles or not, or whatever it is, get it going, get it out there, get the alternative going, and deal with whatever the issue is on down the road or whatever, from whatever that happens. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to go over the little, kind of get a basic breakdown of the group economics thing, and that thing that was pretty basic. There's some other stuff involved. There's some other little programs that's going with it. There's other ways to raise the funds, and that's kind of my specialty, is focusing on the fundraising part. And you don't just have to get a McDonald's job and come out your pocket. You can, but there's little fundraising things you can do, which is I focus on, what you can build up. Because one thing about this platform, and it's all about the platform, the movement and the platform. That way it keeps it wide open. The movement focuses on the actual doing something. The platform keeps it wide open for anybody to just take it and run with it. As long as it's legal and ethical, it's wide open for your creative mind to come up with ideas, or to come up with different things, or to view different things that you're dealing with or complaining about, or that you wish somebody would do. You sit around, boy, I wish somebody, whatever. And it's something that you can get up and do with the help of others, support. If there's other people that feel the same way that you do about it, so that's what, it's just a lot to it, and there's a lot of potential, and it gets your wheels turning, get your creative wheels turning about ideas and things like that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to get a little bit deeper into the economics thing, break it down a little bit deeper. There's still some more left that can go into in different ways to do it, because creativity, like I said, begins to flow. But at least these were the basics. People what you need to do is build up a fan base and a following. I got the cash flow list builders thing going. The one that the little thing I have right now is not quite the one that I want to go with, but it'll work for right now. It's cashflowlistbuilders.com. Focusing on email takes the attention away from Facebook and Google and all these other folks, whoever these big folks out here that shut people down. There's a guy that I get into, and they shut him down. He has a video channel, shut his video channel down because he got controversial or whatever. So if you focus on the power of email, email is something that nobody's going to shut down, whatever this company or that company, this group or site or whatever does, with the email contact, especially when you're dealing with thousands of people, that way nobody can take your livelihood away because of whatever. That's another power thing. Somebody has the power in their hands, and even when you're doing this, you're in your own business, and you're doing like a home-based business or whatever, you're doing your own. It's a whole lot of big folks you got to rely on. You got to rely on Craigslist. You got to rely on Google. You got to rely on YouTube. You got to rely on. It's a whole lot of big billion-dollar platforms that you have to rely. They're almost your new bosses. Now, your customers are your bosses, but whatever they do, you got to jump and sing and dance to their tune. And if not, they're gonna shut you, do all this. Email is the back door to all of that, where whatever they do, you are not going to take away my whatever I'm doing just because, and if you're not in business, you may not be able to relate to it. But if you are, and you deal with these big giant companies, eBay is a perfect example, where eBay gets gangster. Who else is going to compete with eBay? They got some other little sites out there, but ain't nobody going to compete with eBay. Has that on lock. You go away from eBay and try to do what you're doing, you can do it, but eBay, you can't fight eBay. And they have a lot of rules and fees, and you cannot fight eBay. The bigger a corporation gets into the billions, they just have a tendency to do that. Most of them, I can't think of one that hasn't done that. That's $1 billion corporation. I can't think of one. I mean, they have to do what they have to do, because you're in a different position. We're not billionaires, but what I'm saying, that's what I want to focus on, the email thing. Go to that site, cashflowlistbuilders.com. The blog and the radio show, that's cashflowhustlesradio.com. And, things that people can't take away from you, and the back door. These other things are cool. All this Facebook stuff is cool. But you want to have a back door, especially if your livelihood, your house notes and car payments and whatever is based on that, and you don't want your livelihood to be, dictated to by whoever, whatever, or whatever. And you want to have a back door, just in case this one and that one want to clown or whatever. So that's why email is extremely important, and it's the perfect fallback for when all this stuff goes down. But anyway, I don't want to go on and on. Just get the basics out tonight. Today is day 11 for that 30-day challenge. Tomorrow's day 12. And it's probably going to be short because my weekends are pretty busy, so it's not going to be able to do a whole lot going on this entire weekend, really until Monday. A little bit, but not much. At least not on here anyway. But that's the basics of group economics. So check out the blog, the radio show. Go to the email site. Get this thing going. Just ready for this thing to grow, and see how big and how much trending we can get on this particular movement. But yeah, that's it. I'm out. Kev the Cashflow DJ. Just want to put a little bit out there. Thanks everybody for checking it in. Check for everybody for watching. Whatever support, blah blah blah, all of that. Your comments, your love, adoration, and everything. And we're gonna get this thing popping. So it's Cab the Cashflow DJ with Cashflow Hustles Radio. I'm out. Peace. Thanks everybody for your support. I'll get back with you on the next day, which is tomorrow. Day what, 12? Yeah, day 12. So I'm out. Thanks. Peace.